I bring up the economy because something we were talking about Newsroom earlier is the prioritized spending cuts in Washington.
Yes.
And we both, we know $2 trillion is ambitious.
Huge.
But we've never had the collective will to do it in a way that we do right now.
Okay, agreed on that, in principle.
Yeah. Now, that will doesn't exist inside of Congress. Everyone's posturing, and they don't want to cut any of the spending in their own district. But the one thing they do have going for them is, at least on the Elon Musk side of this DOGE thing, he doesn't have an election to concern himself with in 2 years or 4 years.
He's immune to the criticism.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. But you were sitting out there today, right? And that thing crossed.
Yep.
So they're talking about $2 trillion. And Speaker Johnson says, we're going to save the $10 billion in the next funding package for farmers, which I think is great.
Yeah.
But if you go to ChatGPT and you find what percentage of 10 billion is 2 trillion, it's
not a lot.
Jimmy, it's 0.5%. He just. Can you imagine if they didn't give that money to farmers? There'd be an uproar. So I think it's going to be a bigger challenge than people think. That's what I'm saying.
Spot on, and I do agree. Because when you look at the math that way, you're really taking 20 minutes off the trip to the moon. Right. It's just going to go on and on. Bill Hemmer's here with the real analysis. This is why you bring Hemmer in. I'll give you a baseball metaphor, but he just put the full DOGE caucus into focus.
So it's going to be hard, and I think what they think is, a lot of people are working from home, and I know for a fact that Elon Musk does not like work from home.
Yep.
As he says, work from home does not work for me.
Thank you.
We're building cars, we're building rockets, and you got to be in the office to get it done.
And can I add something to that? Who else doesn't like working from home is a lot of the people who are going to be subsidizing their ability to work from home, the taxpayer.
Right.
Okay, there's nothing I could think of that's more insulting to the taxpayer, busting his butt, than saying, hey, you've got to commute every day. And by the way, we're taking a percentage of your paycheck so these people don't have to.
So the idea then is, if you force them back, that you will get a measure of attrition through the federal government workforce, and then you can save money that way.
Yeah.
But Jimmy, I don't know if that gets you to $2 trillion.
No, it won't get you there. But you can start, as Guy Benson said when we were on TV earlier, you can start putting points on the board. If they prioritize things that are almost indefensible, they will make progress. Will they make $2 trillion? I don't know. But I think they will make progress.
One of the things I was thinking about is, and this is a big runway for Trump. And Biden has stepped to the side. Harris is invisible. And Trump pretty much, he's got the stage. And the run-up is going to be so significant that I just wonder if the expectations once in office are so high that it's impossible to meet, even with the team that he's trying to assemble now.
Yeah.
And I think some of these cabinet picks, Republican, Democrat, Independent, is trying to put together the New York Yankees of American politics. And maybe it works, or maybe you find that you get too many alpha males in the room, and you start butting heads over time.
Yep.
There's a reason why Washington has gotten as big as it has grown. And there's a reason why people are able to defend their territory the way they do.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's that easy to break down those walls.
That's a great point. We're talking to Bill Hemmer. Because it's not like Elon Musk buys Twitter and goes, all right, I wave the wand and we lay off staff.
Yeah.
The government don't work that way, man.
Yes. Unless you want a rash of really negative headlines day in and day out, then you're the devil. Now, listen, Democrats have been quiet, but don't think they're going to stay that way because the resistance will rise again. It's just a question of when.
Well, I think that's going to be the biggest challenge is when you start, announcing specific cuts. They are all going to be portrayed in the worst light imaginable. Well, you're only cutting this because you hate these people,
right.
And then the media circus ensues. So that's where somebody like Elon, if he's immune to that criticism, is effective. Unfortunately, he is going to be surrounded by people who are not immune to that criticism.
And my feeling today is we were just doing predictions for social media here that are going to come out. I don't know. I made up some good ones.
I love it.
I said I made up. But Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are going to do this job for a year and a half. And I don't know if they're going to be able to meet the measure by then. They want to retire it by the 250th anniversary of the United States, which I think is amazing and awesome. but I think they will hand it off to someone else, and that department will not disappear.
Yeah.
Listen, I wish them all the best. You know, I hope they can. I hope they can find a lot of fat that's not necessary.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be more difficult than we know.
It's a great point. And that is their biggest challenge, is that spending money is popular. Okay. And guys running for re-election, it's a lot easier to go to your district and saying, if you elect me, I'll bring this in, than if you elect me, it's gone. Okay. As much as we say it.
Right. And those dudes want their jobs. Let's be honest.
It's not
right.
It's not, there's only so many holes in the Mets outfield right now. You got to get reelected. Okay. Soto moves to DH. That's one job.
That's one job.
Right field job is all we got. So give me this, Hemmer. We are in the home stretch of an NFL football season.
Yes, sir.
Your man Joe Burrow seems to have hit his stride.
I tell you what, I mean, he's playing better than any NFL quarterback in the league, and the team is still underwater.
Right, they are underwater.
That's really a shame.
But you want to know something, man? They're in the mix, and we're watching
They're
them.
on the outside.
I understand.
I mean, in the mix with a really small
Fair.
M-I-X.
Fair. But the one thing you got going for you is teams that need these games do lose them. So
fair point.
You can't quit on the season, and it does feel like I consider a couple of teams to be elite. The Bills look elite right now.
Agreed.
Beat up the bad. I think
on the road, winning in Detroit, make you look like all-stars.
That's an impressive win.
But you don't know.
I know.
You don't know how this goes. Keep going.
Yep. The Eagles. I am impressed with the Eagles, top to bottom. That's a good team. The Lions are the Lions. They obviously have.
They're
a
a really
record.
good team.
Very good,
and they've got a great coach.
They might have done the fatal NFL thing of peaking too soon. The worst thing you can be is the best team in the NFL, like November 10th. It never ends good for that team.
So you want to hear my prediction?
Yeah, give it to me.
I think that we will see the first Super Bowl championship in Buffalo, New York.
Wow, that would be a big deal.
I know. Maybe I'm coming a little hot after the game on Detroit.
But the upstate listeners love it. They're fine.
All right, here we go. Bills Mafia.
You're winning hearts and minds.
And listen, if I can't win a Super Bowl, I want some team to win that hasn't been there before.
Fair. Now, it would be interesting if we opened up the calls to everybody listening on WHIO in Dayton and said if they could co-sign a Bills Super Bowl since they can't get a Bengals one at the moment. And I bet you a lot of them would.
Maybe. I think a lot of those folks would go for Detroit.
Because you want to know why? And this is a
lot of those folks would go for Detroit.
Yeah.
It's right up by 75.
Right up 75.
Yeah,
Get on 75.
Bam. I don't know what your affiliate is in Detroit, but, give them some love.
WBCK out in Michigan. We could get into it.
Very nice.
CBK. I mean, they're out there. They're
These
listening.
are like airport codes,
they're
aren't they?
all over the place. Yeah, you remember radio. But the point is, you're right to say these are good fan bases that we could all root for. Lions win a Super Bowl, you'd be happy for them. Bills win a Super Bowl,
I think it'd be amazing to see Buffalo and Detroit play in New Orleans.
Yeah.
What a clash of culture that would be.
That would. Bills Mafia. Do you want a funny story? So a guy, Ryan Stagg, who runs Bills Mafia, he's a friend of the program. He came on one night. We had Johnny Damon on Fox News Saturday night, won a Red Sox World Series, Yankee World Series. But the Bills Mafia guy, from basically Friday at noon till Monday at noon, only has a one-word vocabulary, which is woo. You know what I mean? These people are breaking tables. They're doing keg stands.
Yes.
Ryan Stagg.
What a shame it'll be for them to build an indoor arena in Buffalo. That's happening.
Yeah, I know.
Indoor stadium.
And
Keep going.
I can't abide that either. But that passionate fan base, you're right to say, would be in a real culture clash down in New Orleans. And I'd love to watch that.
It's going to be a huge American fun experience if it happens.
So good. But that's where I was going to end this conversation.
Yes, please.
Is we are trending back to the year 1980.
That's a nice way of saying I'm rapping.
No, we're good. We got a moment. But we're trending back to 1985. I always argue with anybody who listens that the country peaked for the first time in 1985. You had Reagan. You had a lot of civic pride or national pride. You had the Bears doing the Super Bowl shuffle. WrestleMania just started. Okay, so we were just getting into the Hulkster and all the fun stuff. If you remember, the New England Patriots recorded their own video to counter Super Bowl Shuffle. Didn't quite age the way Super Bowl Shuffle did.
Was that Steve Grogan?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So it was a great one. It was called New England, the Patriots, and Me.
Was it any good?
I'll never forget the chorus. It's New England, the Patriots, and me. We'll bury the Bears. Just wait and see. Not exactly. Not exactly.
Another 2-12 season.
They lost 46-0. Right. 46-0. We had the fridge. We had sweetness.
Chicago played New England.
Yes.
Very good.
And blew them out, 46-0.
Do you know how old I am? I was going to school in Europe then. Wow. And I was not going to miss a Super Bowl.
No way.
So I get a couple of my buddies together. I'm like, guys, we can see this on Armed Forces Network.
Oh.
Sounds ancient, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We had to get from Luxembourg City to the Bitburg Air Base in Germany.
to catch this game
and meet some friends who had a TV.
This is a movie.
And we
want to watch the Super Bowl.
we did it.
Yeah, you did.
And we saw the fridge, and it was like 45-10 blowout.
Yeah, and the fridge scored a touchdown.
Yeah,
they handed off to the fridge.
So I had dinner with Ron Rivera a couple weeks ago.
Oh, give it to me.
He played on that team.
Yeah.
I said, let me tell you where I watched that football game. The Bitburg Air Base in West Germany.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
He loved it.
Do you know how much street cred?
Military guy.
Someday we'll all go to heaven, and Mike Ditka is going to shake your hand
Yeah.
because you were committed to go meet.
Yeah.
I love this. So that's the last note, is that we're trending back to that moment where we're going to watch a Super Bowl, and it's the best thing for this country is that we're going to watch a Super Bowl where the national anthem is really going to pop again. It's been popping for like the last 2 months.
There's no doubt about it.
Isn't it cool?
In a big
It's just
way.
cool.
I love that official the other week who saluted the crowd before he called the penalty. Great.
At the Army-Navy game?
Yeah.
Well, you loved him because you didn't bet Army. Nobody loved anything about that game if they buy kid.
Damn.
The great Bill Hemmer. Watch him every day in America's Newsroom. We're back after this.
Thanks, Jimmy.